Patrick Mahomes II. Some may call him the Grim Reaper, Showtime, Magic Man, the musician, the gunslinger, Mahomeboy, and of course, Fatrick. Yeah, you saw that in there too, right? Alright, I don't know about that one stat reference. Why don't we replace that one with Baby Goat? That's kinda trash also. We'll think of something. I'm sorry, but I gotta say, Mahomes is my favorite football player just so we understand each other's biases. I know, you don't have to tell me how brave I am for admitting that. You can actually see me in this picture right here. I really do deserve a lot of credit for everything Mahomes has accomplished as well. Where would he be without me bitching about Dee Ford going offsides or the O-line completely shitting their pants against the Bucs in the Super Bowl? You can say all the superlatives about Mahomes that you want, but none can really sum it all into one. It's pretty much the opposite of when you tell a significant other. There are no words to accurately describe how amazing you are. But that really means you can't think of a clever way to say anything. However, since I'm a clever guy, I came up with a phrase that can accurately describe the way Mahomes plays football. What are you gonna do? It's Patty Mahomes. Why don't we start at the beginning? Mahomes was the 10th pick of the 2018 NFL Draft out of Texas Tech. His combine numbers didn't jump off the page, but he was right above average with every major drill. Just projected to be a regular starter. Nothing great. I mean, going into college, he was not the most highly touted prospect, such as guys we have seen recently like Archie Manning or Trevor Lawrence. And even going into the NFL, you can say the guy was slept on. How can we forget Mahomes falling in the draft because the Bears took great guy, world talent, and first MVP the league has ever seen in Mitch Trubisky. Scouts were worried Mahomes was too turnover proof and the style he played in college wouldn't work in the NFL long term, but obviously he has a gunslinger mentality with a massive arm. Here's a quote from one of these so-called scouts. Mahomes is a big, confident quarterback who brings a variety of physical tools to the party, but he's developed some bad habits and doesn't have a very repeatable process as a passer. Mahomes' ability to improvise and extend plays can lead to big plays for his offense, but he will have to prove he can operate with better anticipation and be willing to take what the defense gives him in order to win from the pocket. Mahomes will be a work in progress, but he's a high-ceiling, low-floor prospect. Okay, he wasn't completely off, but I think if we realized how bad Cliff Kingsbury was as a coach, and that Patrick Mahomes basically carried him to getting a job in the NFL, people really may have thought differently. Alright, now I'm curious, what was Cliff's college football record? Just as we all suspected, absolutely brutal. Even with Mahomes, how the fuck did he get a job in the NFL? I mean, Mahomes was such an incredible athlete, he was a top baseball prospect, and his godfather, who was a former baseball player, thought his best sport was actually basketball. Also, fun fact, announcers don't talk about it enough, but Patrick Mahomes' dad actually played baseball. As NFL fans, we don't hear that enough. But okay, on a serious note, clearly the arm talent had to come from somewhere. Now let's fast forward to one of his first passes in the NFL, a preseason game against the Falcons that would foreshadow what was about to come. I mean, look at this shit. One step into this throw, 75-yard bomb down the field to Tyreek Hill. That combo could be one of the best ever. Let's just pair the fastest wide receiver in the NFL with the QB with the biggest, most accurate downfield arm. Not taking anything away from Mahomes, but going into that first year as a starter, Mahomes was really set up for success. With great coaching and big Andy Reid, and Eric, the media wants him to be a head coach more than he does Bieniemy. And congratulations, he is now the head coach of the Washington Commanders. Andy Reid is an all-time coach, really a QB guru. The stacked roster built around him with guys like Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt. Unfortunately, Kareem had to roadhouse that girl. Otherwise, I think that could have been the highest scoring offense in NFL history. Look, if Mahomes did end up on the Bears, who knows what could have happened? Just kidding, they would have absolutely messed him up and we would not see the Mahomes that we see today. So thankfully, he went to a nice functioning organization. So we're going to change it up a little and do this just a smidge differently. We're not going to go through every Mahomes season and break it down like that. What we're about to talk about will be about 3 things which I think are the most important. Look, everyone's attention spans nowadays doesn't have the time to go over 5 seasons worth of football. And that's why in life there's only 4 seasons. Thank you, I'll be here all night. The 3 things we're going to talk about is number 1, the eye test. Number 2, stats and accolades. And number 3, intangibles. Now, as awesome as Patrick Mahomes is, we will be talking about some of his faults as well. Why don't we start with the eye test? You can't really measure the eye test, but the way I look at it is by the what the fuck how plays someone can make. Basically, that guy can do shit almost no one else can. More on the physicality side of things. There really are only a few guys every generation in sports where you go, okay, that guy is different. Since 2000, you could say LeBron.
Oh, James! Whoa!
Tiger Woods. Shohei Ohtani.
The best show in sports. He is doing something right now that hasn't been done in over 100 years.
Connor McDavid. And now,
you have my curiosity.
Now on Mahomes. He's in trouble. Now gets it away. Are you
Patrick Mahomes.
Now you have my attention.
on the move? Mahomes stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
I mean, from the no-look passes, the ridiculous arm angles, the arm strength and accuracy, pocket awareness, football IQ, and running ability.
As long as try to make a diving and tipped it. Mahomes who tiptoes inside the 10. Still not out. Oh, what a run! Out of this world!
There really is not a QB that has ever played like him in NFL history. A guy that can put incomplete passes in his highlight reel. Okay, I know Max Kellerman doesn't have the best takes, but his player comp for Mahomes is a combination of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. And honestly, that's a pretty solid take. Just very similar styles in throwing the ball and just being able to make almost any throw. And then you can also add my own little take of Russell Wilson's running and escapability. You can say what you want about Mr. Unlimited on the Broncos, okay? But hey, you may not like him, but you gotta respect his dimes. When Mahomes is out there, it does seem like he's playing almost a different kind of sport. Kinda like basketball, I'd say. So, if you look at this pass right here, I mean, that's a hook pass. That's a Kareem-esque hook pass right there. Look, it was 5-6 yards down the field, but where have you ever seen that before? I think we're all just waiting for the day he throws a behind-the-back pass. Oh wait, look at that. It's coming. Alright, enough of the eye test. Now let's take a little gander at his stats and accolades. In 5 full seasons, he has 2 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, led the league in passing yards once and touchdowns twice. And let's not forget, he has never missed, yes, never missed an AFC Championship game while being a starting quarterback, and has also been to 3 Super Bowls. The latest Mahomes has lost is overtime of the AFC Championship game. And people might hate on me for that last stat of, oh, he's been to 3 Super Bowls, but I mean, it's better to get there than not to get there, and you got guys like Steve Young and Aaron Rodgers, and of course, Mr. Unimpressive himself, Trent Dilfer, who have only been to 1. It seems like every week Mahomes is putting up a stat that has never been done before or adding to a ridiculous record he already has. This year, he joined Brady and Breeze as the only quarterbacks to ever throw for multiple 5,000-yard seasons. I know what you're thinking, oh, it's a 17-game season now. But don't worry, he did it in 16 games because Mahomes is a classy guy. And through 75 starts, Mahomes has the most wins of any QB, the most passing yards, the most touchdowns, and the highest passer rating. And for the people out there, again, who are like, oh wow, it's a passing-friendly league now, so of course he would have those records? Well, if it was so goddamn easy, wouldn't you see guys like Josh Allen, Peyton Manning on this list? And to top it all off with the winning, he has the highest winning percentage in NFL history. And that's even higher than I'm the luckiest man to ever play the sport of football in my life, Tom Brady. I know that was the D Ford play, but I just had to make a quick point. And yes, this was my second time complaining about D Ford going offsides, but I'm just extra pissed about that one because Mahomes probably wins that Super Bowl against the fucking Rams, who scored 10 points against New England. I mean, we would have had a great Super Bowl, but instead we got fucking like 10-7 or some shit. I don't even fucking know. Whatever. Yes, Tom Brady is the GOAT for now, I will concede. Patty Mahomes has done all this winning with mostly average and some below average defenses. Kansas City defenses ranks in yards are 31, 16, 17, 27, and 11. And in points, 24, 7, 10, 8, and 16. That is pretty average to below average defense. They do and did have some solid defensive guys like Chris Jones, Frank Clark, and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu lead the way on the defensive end, but they usually end up being in the middle of the pack. Now, want to hear what Kansas City's offensive ranks are? Well, you don't have a choice, and I'm going to tell you. In yards, there were 1, 6, 1, 3, 1, and points. 1, 5, 6, 4, 1. I heard a lot of ones there. That's the biggest thing. So pretty much they had a top 5 offense in every season Mahomes has played. Again, people will be like, oh, anyone in that offense can put up those kind of numbers. Well, Alex Smith, who was a solid quarterback, never was able to do that, and he did have Travis Kelce and he did have Tyreek Hill. These are just good old regular season stats. Why don't we dive into some playoff stats? That's right, Jim Mora, playoffs. Want to know where Mahomes is ranked on a per game basis? Again, I'm just going to tell you this because you don't really have a choice. It's number 1 in every major quarterback statistic that can be measured on a per game basis. Passer rating, completion percentage, yards per game, passing TDs per game, and even touchdown to interception ratio. For perspective on the TD to interception ratio, the second highest ratio for QBs with 12 plus playoff games is Aaron Rodgers at 3.46. Mahomes obliterates that with a 5.0. What's really amazing is the fact that Mahomes' stats in the regular season and the postseason are basically identical, with his stats in the postseason even being a little bit higher. I mean, Mahomes is putting up numbers that no one really thought was possible from the quarterback position, and I mean, he's doing it all while winning, which makes it even more impressive. And I mean, this guy clearly shows up when the lights are brightest, and that brings us to our intangible portion of this video. An intangible Mahomes has is he's insanely clutch, and we know this, and he gets this done pretty much every time. But one thing that flies under the radar is he's just a likable guy and teammate. The ability to not be a dick is massive. I hate throwing guys under the bus, I really do. But guys like Zach Wilson and Kyler Murray just don't have the greatest personalities, and it clearly shows on the field. Now, the kind of likability Mahomes has reminds me more of guys like Peyton, Eli, Brady, Breeze. It's really the kind of likability where all of their teammates know Mahomes will do whatever it takes to win, and I think teammates can reciprocate off that, and even coaches are able to feed off of that, especially when a guy is so great at what he does. Here's a quote from Travis Kelce, who basically compares them to family. The intangibles that makes Brady great, Mahomes carries just as much, and that does include his clutch gene. Science hasn't officially proven that it's real yet, but according to me it's real. Oh, it's real alright. And you can trust me, I'm pretty much a doctor, without the degree and everything, but allegedly his heartbeat was slower on the field when he was watching, according to this right here. Yes, Brady is the clutchest QB of all time, without a doubt, for now. But Mahomes is never out of the game the same way you think Brady isn't, Michael Jordan, and very specific, but that 73-9 Warriors team. Yup, the Chiefs came back in this one. And this one. And this one. And this one. I could do this all day. Okay, I understand 3 of those 4 were against the most comebackable teams ever, but in that Niners game, they ended up winning by 21. Down double digits, he is the only QB all time to have a winning record at 14-9, combined of regular season and playoffs. The man has 13 fourth quarter comebacks and 14 game-winning drives just in the regular season, and in the playoffs has 4 game-winning drives. How can we forget about the Bills-Chief epic, where legend, Gabe Davis of course, and not a fantasy bust at all, had 4 touchdowns. Unreal game. First, did you see that pass to Tyreek? Has pressure on him and completely anticipates the throw, which launches Tyreek ahead for the touchdown. Then pulling off the impossible field goal with 13 seconds left is just absurd. There's no other player in the league that can pull that off. then finishing the Bills off in OT with this dime to Travis Kelce. Puts it in a spot where no one else can get it. Mahomes does own Josh Allen a bit, but you know what, for you Allen heads out here, here's a nice highlight for you. Now let's look at this throw he made to Tyreek against the Ravens on 4th down with the game on the line. How can you even explain that? Rolling to his right, pressure coming from everywhere, and just launches it downfield. The only thing I can even think of that comes remotely close is the Eli to Tyreek catch in the Super Bowl. The difference might be Eli got a little bit lucky. Okay, he got a little lucky there. Mahomes plays the end of the game like it was the beginning. So even-keeled, and he even gets better in the 4th quarter. In games where the Chiefs entered the 4th quarter trailing, Patrick Mahomes has a win percentage of .600, 9-6. That's a stat from November 2022, so he's added a couple more W's to that record. And number 2 on that list is Raiders QB Jay Schroeder, who is 15-27. Lastly, the Super Bowl runs in which they went on were almost as good as the best Manning, which is of course Eli Manning, and those giant teams. Can't spell elite without Eli, baby. Just kidding, Mahomes was obviously better. The Chiefs came back from double digits in every game and even ended up winning all those games by double digits in their first Super Bowl run. Let's take a quick gander at this. Right when they need a big play, game is on the line, 3rd and 15, which for Mahomes in my head has always been like a 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7. He gets it done. The IQ and physical ability to drop another 5 yards in his drop back to let the play develop is special. Yes, the Chiefs ran the fuck it Tyreek down there somewhere play, but as Peter Griffin says, who the hell cares? Because that ended up in a ring. Okay, what we're about to talk about was probably the biggest detriment on Mahomes' career. Finally, Mahomes got the I can't beat the Joe Burrow and the Bengals monkey off of his back. And he did it on a high ankle sprain. I mean, talk about physical and mental toughness. If you watch that game, he was definitely injured, limping a bit between plays, and didn't have that normal burst to get away from defenders like he normally has. I think this last AFC Championship was the most impressive performance by a quarterback, especially regarding the circumstances I have ever seen. On a high ankle sprain, throwing the ball to guys with more tackles than career receptions against a top 5 defense in the league. Yes, I do think that was better than both Super Bowl wins, which were also insanely impressive. Other than that fumble and a missed throw to Marquez Valdes-Scantling, I finally got the name right. He played nearly perfect. And the end really does feel like the NFL scripted this one, which is the classic joke going around now. But you know the NFL is going to call the play the run. I mean, on a high ankle sprain, the guy couldn't run all game. And on the last play of the game, he gets it done. Just like that. The one thing that was really missing from Mahomes' resume was a Jordan-esque kind of game. And there you go. But wait, that's not all. If we remember, Jordan won that championship. The Chiefs go into Super Bowl 57 as a clear underdog. All the pundits and reporters picking Philly, saying this Philly team is just too good. Including myself, actually, I thought Philly was going to win. If you know ball, you know when you see the graphics who's going to lose. But another game down double digits. Guess what happens? Lucky for the Chiefs, when you have Patrick LeVon Mahomes II, no lead is ever too big. Gets hurt in the 2nd quarter. Can he pull it off again? Dread it. Run from it. Destiny arrives all the same. Some may call him Fatrick, but we call him the baby goat. We can talk about the holding call on Juju, but the Eagles defense, who are statistically the best defense in football, got cooked and diced and sliced by the best QB in football, and credit to that Chiefs O-line for allowing 0 sacks. And again, on the final drive of the game, to get his team in field goal range, the Run 2.0 runs the football on a high ankle sprain after it getting aggravated right before halftime, and as always, old trusty Butker finishes it off. And still, the undisputed best QB in the world gets it done. finishing the 2022 playoffs with 703 yards on 72% completion, 7 TDs, 0 picks, and only 60 rushing yards on a high ankle sprain in this Super Bowl run, no pun intended. Also, side note, I gotta give some credit to Rihanna for that performance. That's right, I am 100% simping right now. The killer instinct of Mahomes is right there with the all-time greats, and not just in football, but every sport. Anytime the game is within the balance, you always think he's going to get the job done. So Mahomes has the toughness, moxie, clutch gene, football IQ, and an all-around good guy whose teammates seem to like him. Okay, enough dick sucking this guy who wins at the clip of college coach Nick Saban. Well, I'm not going to, so quit asking. Just kidding, he must have some faults, right? The one thing that grinds my gears when I watch Mahomes play is he thinks he's so good at football or something where that'll lead to questionable throws and decision making. To be fair, he makes most of these throws, but when he pulls some Carson Wentz bullshit, that's what gets to me. Sometimes he'll extend a play too long and force the ball into areas it shouldn't. No, Deshaun, we're not talking about you here, buddy. I understand I just compared Mahomes to Carson Wentz, but you can see by the couple of plays here what I'm talking about. Adding onto this flaw, he will try the crazy throws, sidearm, upside down, between the legs, no look, whatever it is, and will sometimes get in trouble for that. It's kind of amazing how rarely that happens, seeing how much he does it, but when he does do it and he ends up in an interception, it just looks especially bad. The bigger question here is, do I really have the right to be criticizing a two-time NFL MVP, two-time Super Bowl MVP, two-time Super Bowl winner? With the amount of hours I put into Red Zone and my 3 fantasy championships, honestly, that's gotta be enough credentials. No, I'm not done talking shit yet. Mahomes does have a bit of a mental lapse when he plays Joe Burrow, until this year really, but even then, Mahomes did have that very uncharacteristic fumble in the AFC Championship, and I mean, when do you ever see him do that? And as Stephen A says about Rodgers, Burrow is also a bad man. He's just cool as fuck and doesn't give any either. Does that mean I think Joe Burrow is the better, more talented quarterback? No. It just means head-to-head for some reason, Burrow is the kryptonite against Mahomes. Sometimes when there is a break in the momentum for Mahomes, aka the Tyreek non-touchdown at the half in the AFC Championship game last season, it's almost like that will rattle his play for some of the game. This happened in that game, as well as up 35-24 against the Ravens, where he threw a brutal pick and they end up losing. We already saw this Carson Wentz bullshit play, but I'll show it again. Really, Burrow could beat Mahomes in a moxie off. However, as I mentioned earlier, I gotta give credit where it's due and congratulate Mahomes and especially the refs on that great AFC Championship game. Oh wait, what is that? Reports are coming out that Adam Schefter has pictures of Goodell calling in to fix the game. Great work, Adam. Same with the penalty on Juju, but that was just a shitty way to end a sick game, so people will be more mad at that aspect. One thing that was a problem that you really have to give Patrick Mahomes credit for is getting Jackson Mahomes to stop doing TikToks for 1 full season. Don't worry, I'm not going to put you guys through a clip of that. My take is the Chiefs really signed Juju to Alpha Jackson into knowing that Juju is the real TikTok guy in the team and is highly respected for it. And as true football guys, don't worry, I am not going to show you Juju doing a TikTok, or Jackson for that matter, because we are just not about that here. Generally speaking, other than that, there are just not a lot of things to criticize Mahomes with when it comes to football. Overall, I think Mahomes, without a doubt, is the best in the new generation of quarterbacks. He has all the tangible and physically gifted aspects that it takes to be the best, as well as the intangibles such as leadership, clutch gene, all-around good guy, and likable within the locker room. Mahomes has also been blessed with some of the best coaching and most explosive weapons in the league to start his illustrious career, but clearly he is the cog in the machine that makes it all go. Where before Mahomes, the Chiefs were not taken seriously with Alex Smith and were a divisional round team at best. Doing it without Tyreek Hill this year really kind of shuts the haters up on that front. He does still have Kelsey, but every elite QB in the league has at least one weapon. You got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, and you could even throw in Mike Williams and Austin Eckler. And then the best one of all, Mike White and Garrett Wilson. The part where it gets interesting with Mahomes, can he go from baby goat to GOAT? Yeah, I couldn't think of another nickname throughout the video, and I said it multiple times, so that one's on me. He really is the only QB that has that legacy question surrounding him at the moment. Will he win 7 rings? Probably not. Brady has had a top 10 defense almost every year of his career, and that's something Mahomes has not had once according to the stat DVOA. Just from Mahomes' greatness himself, in my eyes, if he doesn't win at least 3 to 4 rings to me, it will be somewhat of a disappointment. However, Mahomes continues to evolve his game. This year, you can say Mahomes has gotten even better, really just taking what the defense is giving him. In Super Bowl 57, he did not have a completion over 15 air yards. Sounds like another GOAT who would slice defenses up just like that, but that's just making all the right reads. I just don't like when people are like, oh, he's dinking and dunking, blah, blah, blah. No. If you're making the right reads and it's effective and you're scoring touchdowns, that's all that matters. In my opinion, the counting stats Mahomes will accumulate if he plays long enough will break every single record. Personally, for myself, I don't think rings is the end-all be-all of the GOAT conversation. And if you do, congratulations, you have the same take as Skip Bayless. After Michael Jordan's first retirement and only his 3rd ring, it was known he was the GOAT. His statue in Chicago that was put up after his 3rd ring says, "The best there ever was, the best there ever will be." After Mahomes won his 2nd Super Bowl, what are we waiting for at this point to crown him the GOAT? Either way, hopefully we can watch Mahomes play football and make jaw-dropping plays for the next 10 to 15 years. And if you hate on him, what are you gonna do about it? He's Patty Mahomes. Comment what you think the rest of Mahomes' career will look like, and let's get some good old-fashioned barbershop talk going. Thanks for watching.